say, a lot of black men sometimes feel like they're ignored or they're put down, particularly sometimes even by black women in the media. So this is not that. But I do hear Roland's point that felt ignored. But you feel ignored and then you go over to the other side. The oppressed feel oppressed. So then you go and try to align with the oppressor. So I'm not putting black men down, but sometimes it's like, well, some of you Kevin Samuels following Tariq Nasheed quoting people, please look at the truth and see what's happening and get in line with some of the black women. Is majority, like he said, vote Democrat, but that margin of people who can be plucked away from your people and go advance policies that harm your people, I just don't understand that.
What it do, family and friends? In case you don't know who I am, I'm Max Don, aka Tahuti Son, and welcome to the Church of B1. The doors of the church are now open. Today's discussion: media, music, and politics. This is Tiffany Cross, aka Tiffany Cross Faded, because she gotta be doing some kind of drugs for the shit that she be pushing. Tiffany is an agent and bedwench of the white supremacist system. Tiffany is one of the many black women that the white supremacist system like to use against the black community. The white supremacist system loves to use black men and black women against their own interest. However, their go-to has always and will always be black women.
We want to shift gears and talk about the midterm elections coming up. I want to turn to Georgia, which is on everyone's minds because less than 2 months out from the midterms. And at the center of the conversation among many black men, that rarely happens. And I want to center black men today.
Now, when she say address the black men, she means, address the issues that we've been calling out. Like, what are you going to do for the black community? And what kind of policies are you going to do to protect black people, right? She's going to be able to tell us all the things that we need to know, the things that we need to know to minimize our concerns, right? Nuh-uh.
But Stacey Abrams is behind Governor Kemp. Now, Abrams says if black men vote for her, she'll win. But the math ain't really math in there. And I know Roland has a lot of thoughts about that. I want to bring into the conversation Cliff Albright. He's the co-founder of Black Voters Matter Fund. And Terrence Woodbury. He's a Democratic pollster and CEO and founding partner of Hitch Strategies. Cliff, I do want to start with you since you're on ground there in Georgia. Are black men large in number enough to decide this race for Stacey Abrams? Or is this just a headline that's, more yellow journalism and sensationalism?
It's funny how no one said that it was yellow journalism or sensationalism when they were running around telling everyone that black women are the backbone of the Democratic Party when they needed those votes, right? Okay.
Whether or not they come out, we come out, black men in Georgia come out and support Stacey at the same rate that black women do is a legitimate question. Now certainly black men aren't going to bear the brunt of what happens in this election on their own, no more than black women should bear the brunt of it. Some white folks could have to wake up and actually do the right thing in the state if they wanted to move forward. But I think that it is smart to raise this issue because at the end of the day, and we hate to admit it, but there is some number of black men that will just refuse to vote. It's the sexism, it's the patriarchy that just refused to vote for a woman, whether that woman is Stacey Abrams or whether it was Hillary Clinton in 16.
Yes, the confusion. Because on one hand, he sits here and say, oh, black men ain't going to carry the brunt of this just like the black woman shouldn't. But then turns around and tried to call black men misogynistic and everything else, saying that black men don't want to vote for people, huh? More specifically for women. And he mentioned Hillary. The funny thing is, he just told a blatant lie to the face of everyone watching, and I'm going to prove it. This right here is a chart from the 2016 elections through the PewResearch.org. Black women voted for Hillary Clinton at a 96% rate or higher, while black men voted for Hillary Clinton at an 81% rate or higher. However, when you look at everyone else who participated in those votes, the black community voted at the highest rate for Hillary Clinton. As if any black male who wants to hold their politicians accountable, the representatives accountable, well, they're just misogynistic and on the wrong side of history. And can anyone tell me what other group has ever been put on the front burner, thrown under the bus because they decided to vote a different way? I mean, what other group had their males called out for being misogynistic for deciding not to vote for someone who didn't represent their interest?
I will say, you know, a lot of black men sometimes feel like they're ignored or they're put down, particularly sometimes even by black women in the media. So this is not that.
Oh, but this is exactly what it is. Because the next few seconds or so, she's going to take her time berating black males.
But I do hear Roland's point that felt ignored. But you feel ignored, and then you go over to the other side. The oppressed feel oppressed, so then you go and try to align with the oppressor.
Yeah, says the woman who sits as the literal mouthpiece for the left wing of the white supremacy. See, this is the problem. Oppressed feel oppressed, and they go and side with the oppressor. You've already sided with the oppressor. You've already selected to speak in the oppressor's tongue. All you really did was lend your black face to the oppressor's mind. And see, this is a whole get out situation right now. Like this, we're not even looking at a black woman. We're looking at a black puppet with a white mind. She blatantly talks down on black men and then turn around and say, well, I'm not talking down on black men. This isn't that. Well, it absolutely is, because in the next breath, you go in and you start talking about a whole bunch of nonsense as if black men aren't supposed to have their own mind. Like, you're just supposed to jump on board, even though, you know, we know that these people aren't doing nothing for us, you know, but since we told you to do it, you need to follow black women.
So I'm not putting black men down, but sometimes it's like, well, some of you Kevin Samuels following Tariq Nasheed quoting people, please look at the truth and see what's happening and get in line with some of the black women.
Tariq Nasheed, Kevin Samuel followers. So every black man who decides to say, no, if y'all not giving us nothing for our vote, we're not giving you our vote. We're all Kevin Samuel followers, apparently. Anybody that knows me knows I did not mess with Kevin Samuels whatsoever. And Tariq Nasheed, you know, I don't really follow him whatsoever. You know, I hear things about him. I see a couple of interviews from time to time, but Tariq Nasheed is Tariq Nasheed. And Kevin Samuels is a dead man. So instead of telling us what your candidate will do for us, instead of actually bringing something to the table, you call all black men who decides to say no Kevin Samuel followers. Do you see the disrespect? Oh, but this isn't putting black men down. She's definitely not putting black men down. This is empowerment. Get on board with the black women.
Majority, like he said, vote Democrat, but that margin of people who can be plucked away from your people and go advance policies that harm your people, I just don't understand that.
And this is a disrespect that we get, not just as black men, but as the black community. Nobody else. You don't see no Hispanic women jumping up on TV, downing their men. You don't see Asian women jumping on TV, downing their men. You don't see Indian women or anything like that jumping on TV, downing their men. It's on to the contraire. Mora moshami, mishamo, or whatever the hell that term is. But the thing is, when you see these black shields, this is an overall disrespect to the whole black community, because they feel like we can't put two and two together. They feel like we don't know what's going on. They do it because nobody respects the black vote. No one. Every other group laughs at the lack of intellect when it comes to black politics. Everyone, even people who just get here, can get together and make sure that their interests are met. And people laugh at that. Black politics is a joke. It's become a joke to every other group. We are a joke. And if you're one of those people that believe that the Democrats respect the black vote or the Republicans respect the black vote, then you need to get your head checked. If anybody respect the black vote, how does shit like this happen?
Now voting, no loving. Now voting, no touching. Now voting, no nothing. Now voting, no fucking, no voting, no.
Black politics is a joke to these Negroes. It's an all-out war against our community, and we out here literally getting campaigns pushed on us like this. The disrespect is real. It's really real. And a lot of people might say, oh, well, you're going a little bit too hard. They're just trying to reach a different demographic. What type of demographic are they trying to reach? Who is the demographic? Who is the demographic? And if it's younger people, that's even more disrespectful. Because instead of saying, hey, this is how politics is supposed to go, we're supposed to hold our votes unless they're giving us something, because voting is transactional. Election season is the season that everybody decides where all the resources are going to go. Where are the resources going to go? That's what election season is. That's what it's all about. These Negroes are making a joke and mockery of black politics. They're making a mockery. They're spitting in our face, blatantly spitting in our face. And this ain't the first time. Y'all remember this.
Get your booty to the pole, 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 yeah.
Did we get your attention? Good.
So, you really not gonna vote? You know it's more than just the president on the ballot, right? Check it.
A district attorney decides who to prosecute,
Including whether or not to go after dirty cops.
Do you know who elects the DA? We do, but you don't wanna vote.
Can't make it rain if you locked up on some bullshit.
Want trades and coding taught in our schools?
Then vote for the school boards that will prepare us for the job market.
Want to end cash bail?
Well, then vote for the sheriffs and county officials that feel the same way you do.
But you talking about, oh, they gonna pick who they gonna pick, shawty.
Ferguson just elected their first black mayor.
You know how that happened?
It's clear Black lives don't matter to some of our current elected officials.
If they matter to you, then don't let other people decide who's gonna run your community. Get your booty to the poll. Get your booty to the poll.
Get your booty to the poll.
Get your vote, yeah, vote, stretch.
For information on how and where to vote, as well as resources to find out who's running where you live, go to getyourBootyToThePoll.com.
To the pole, get your booty to the pole.
Black politics is a joke to these people. We are not out here fighting the same fights. All this stuff, all the disrespect, all the hypersexualization. If we gotta have hypersexualization to get somebody to the poll, why do we need them at the poll? You're not voting for the same shit that we need. We're fighting two different fights. You ain't gonna be educated enough politically or otherwise in order to make the right decisions for your community. So why the freak would we need them to go to the polls? This is the disrespect. This is the disrespect. And celebrities love to freaking throw themselves into a pool of disrespect when it comes to the black community. They have no problem putting themselves under the bus. All they got to do is drop the bag. Drop the bag off. Drop off that bag. You want to see how committed I'm going to be? Drop off that bag. Oh, you need Trina to be a shield? That's easy. Just drop off the bag. Drop off the bag. You need the baddest bitch? No problem. Drop off that bag. I'll be right here twerking for you. Drop off the bag. Oh, you need Lizzo out here? I'll drop off the bag. You will have Lizzo out here. But, oh, you won't just have Lizzo out here doing it lightly. Hell no. You ever heard the term pay like you weigh? Oh, she's paying like she weighs. She's looking down on a scale and say, I gotta go 10 times harder than that. And it shows. All you gotta do is drop off the bag. And then people wonder why we're turning a blind eye to all of these candidates. We don't care about anything that you have to say if it's not about tangibles for our community. Because if we don't stand up for tangibles, we're just going to get a lot more of this bullshit. A lot more of this bullshit. While the people that's doing this bullshit is more than happy to run around playing the slave owner's flute. Understand that we are fighting two different fights in this country. Either you with us or you against us. And all of these celebrities have shown, given a proper dollar amount, they could be used. And they will be used. Because you can be 100% that voter, but at the end of the day, what are you voting for? What policies are you voting for? What policies to advance your community are you voting for? Because at the end of the day, all you're doing is picking an oppressor.
Everybody suspect that would do me harm. And don't ever forget Malcolm. Malcolm said that Republicans are brute wolves and Democrats are sly foxes.
Preach.
But don't ever forget they both belong to the dog family.
Amen.
And Reverend Adam Clayton Powell, the phenomenal congressman from Harlem, said that one of the dirtiest words in the English language is liberal.
So don't fix your mouth to talk to me about no damn oppressor when you were sitting there working literally as a mouthpiece of the left wing of the white supremacist system. And then you have the audacity to come out and say, well, all black faces in media are not necessarily black voices. Bitch, you are the definition of which you speak. You are definitely the definition in which you speak. I don't want to hear nothing out of your mouth because you fight for the rights of others. You are not B1. The system got you so messed up. It got a lot of these motherfuckers messed up. Watch this shit. The NAACP went out in a frenzy because they felt the rights of white people were being violated. Tell me these people ain't confused or they just comfortable with a white supremacist hand up their ass. There is no excuse for any of this. But yet Tiffany want to talk about siding with the oppressor. This is redundant. And it's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. So don't talk to me about voting for no damn Stacey Abrams, Tiffany. When none of these politicians are willing to do what's necessary to affect positive change within the black community. Benign neglect is showing his ass. And guess what? So is the black community. So I don't give a damn what you have to say or how you feel or what you care to label us. As a black man, you could take whatever opinion you may have about this situation and shove it right up the hole that white supremacy used to puppeteer your ass. And if you don't understand, if you really don't understand that there are no black leaders right now that are on our side, I'm going to let Brother Malcolm explain it to you.
To a large number of Negro leaders who have consistently betrayed Negroes in a whole host of areas.
They aren't really Negro leaders. These are puppets that have been put in front of the Negro community by white liberals. These are parrots that have been put in front of the Negro community by white liberals. You can't name me a Negro leader who has been betrayed Negroes, who has not been endorsed, sanctioned, subsidized, and supported by the white liberals.